We are live. Not really.
Can you try to post a comment, just a testing?
Amphi, say something.
If you guys can hear us, can you post a comment just to make sure that the chat is working? Test, okay.
All right, thank you. Looks like we are truly live.
Yep, we have 2 minutes though.
All right. It's not time yet. Oops. All right, everyone, welcome to our truly first live Q&A session about Amphi. Good afternoon to our East Coast fans and viewers, and good morning to our West Coast viewers, and good evening to our European fans. I'm afraid our Australian brothers and sisters couldn't join us today because they are asleep as we talk. So before I have any questions from you, we gathered a couple of questions before from our website and talking to people, potential customers and fans. And let me start with those. And as you have questions, you can type them, and I'll try to answer as many as possible today. This Q&A is going to last for probably 1 hour. If we need, we will extend, but probably 1 hour will be enough. If there's more demand, we can do another session. So the first question, well, it's about the session. Why do we need the session? We wanted to talk to you directly. We are not a big company. We are a small group of people, small group of enthusiasts who build something we think is interesting, and it's a lot of fun. So we want to have this direct connection with you, and with this connection to build a community around this concept, and maybe start some collaboration with those of you who are willing to participate. So this is one thing, and also we wanted to answer some questions which are frequently asked upfront, and make sure that all people who are interested hear the answer. So the first question is how this whole thing started. Why do we have Amphi, and where this idea came from? So actually, this idea didn't start as an idea. It started as a dream. So it's not like we invented something cool. We just had this dream about moving through the water. I started swimming pretty late. I was probably around 10 years old, and I was always an average swimmer. And the notion I had was to move effortlessly through the water. And I trained and trained and trained, and I couldn't really make it happen. Again, I'm not a bad swimmer. I'm not a great swimmer, but swimming engages your entire body. You have to really make it right in order to make it work. So either you do a freestyle or breaststroke, doesn't matter. You have to engage the entire body, a lot of muscles, in order to move through the water. So I never got to feel this freedom when I was swimming. I struggled with my technique and my state of mind, because I had to focus on swimming. I couldn't relax. And then I started playing with scuba diving. So my first ABC training was a blast, because I put this swim fins first, the flippers on my feet, and it gave me a tremendous acceleration underwater. I was so happy with it. And so I started swimming with fins a lot, and I got pretty good, but it wasn't it yet. Then I tried a monofin, and that was another eureka for me. Monofin gave me so much power that I could really feel the speed. It was ripping off my snorkel. I felt this water on my face, the pressure. So monofin was another eureka moment. But still, you have to engage a lot of muscles. And if you want to dive or free dive, having fins or a monofin, you have to spend a lot of energy. So this oxygen runs out pretty quickly. And you don't have much time to enjoy stuff underwater. You can do it, of course, but you have a choice. Either stay underwater for a long period of time, or have this mobility and move through the water. So it's either this or that. And I wasn't happy with this either. So the idea was, how do we build something like a vehicle which feels, or you don't feel it at all. Let's put it that way. That you just put it on your feet and it pushes you through the water. That it's not really a device which you hold with your hands. It's not really something noisy, something which creates this jet of water which hits your body. It's something you don't feel. It's with your body. It's connected to your body and transforms your body in such a way that you can move through the water. And this dream actually was the beginning of Amphi project. And so yeah, it wasn't a technical idea. It was a dream, and this is how it all started. Maybe let me go to another question, which is why we decided to use a monofin as a platform for this device. Why not just two fins or something like that? So from my experience, and many people who really are interested in swimming and moving underwater, when you have 2 feet and you split them, you create a lot of drag. It's not really without any penalty. when you keep your feet together, then the drag drops. Thus, the monofin platform was really something much more efficient if we want to achieve a high mobility. We have a question. Do you have any courses to learn how to swim with it? So the short answer is yes. We will offer seminars, and we will have a series of YouTube videos where we will teach people how to use it. Having said that, I have to tell you that this is really easy to use. You don't have to have a course. We would prefer to give you a class or two, but you don't have to have it in order to use it. As you can see on our videos, that you can just put it on your feet, and when you turn it on, it will push you through the water. And then everything you have to do is just move with your body, and it will follow your body movement. You want to turn left, just turn your body left. You want to go down, you just do pike dive, the same way you would do with regular fins or a monofin. So this is a very easy device to use. You don't need any classes, but we will offer classes which teach you how to use tools like a camera, like a metal detector underwater, do some basic rescue maneuvers with it, how to use it, how to operate from the boat, from the shore, and stuff like that. So yes, the answer is yes. Second question. We had a question from one of our fans. How does the motor start? Well, so the motor, there's a regular switch which you just turn on, and the motor will be waiting for your fin to signal that it needs to move forward. So you kind of engage the motor initially, but the push will come when you do your first dolphin kick. As you know, it's a hybrid vehicle, so it needs some input from you. You can also turn it on for a constant thrust if this is your preference, and it has switches on the hull which you can actuate and then go full thrust. And in our videos, you see both modes. You see us going with full thrust, full power, and going with a kicking motion. You can use it in both ways. Okay. Another question which is coming very often is this device safe? Because it looks like your feet are connected together to a single platform, namely the monofin. So the big question is, well, is it safe? Again, the short answer is yes, it is. It is very safe. It's as safe as a monofin, that's for sure. And let me elaborate and explain why we think it's safe and why our experience tells us it's safe. First of all, the unit is not very heavy, so when you put it in the water, it's close to being neutral in terms of buoyancy. The current prototype will sink, but the weight is probably, I don't know, 200 grams, fraction of a pound, maybe 1/10 of a pound. So it will sink a little bit. The version which we're going to distribute to our customers will have an insert which will keep it either positively buoyant or neutral or negatively buoyant. So you can choose between those three settings by just changing the insert. My experience is that slightly negative, so if it's sinking slightly, it gives you better performance. But if you want to feel safe, it can float. So it will be still attached to your feet, but it will gently float on the surface. So this is first thing. It's not gonna pull you down. It's not heavy. It's not neutrally buoyant by any serious numbers or measures. And now, of course, this device is meant to be an underwater propulsion vehicle, but it can be used on the surface, and it's very stable on the surface. as you can see in our videos, when you're on the surface, it just keeps you there. You have to actively push your body down in order to dive. You have to do a pretty aggressive pike dive in order to push you down. So it's not going to, again, cause any uncontrollable movement which will pull you underwater. So stability on the surface is also a very, very big plus in terms of safety. Now, going back to this issue that both feet are attached to the monofin, and people say, well, if I need to get rid of this fin, or if I get stuck, I need 2 feet to operate. As you probably noticed, we're using cycling shoes and we're using cycling cleats, which are devices which allow you to disengage your foot when you turn your foot by 5 to 7 degrees. So it's a slight outward motion of your heel, and it's gonna disengage. It's gonna release the shoe. So it's very safe. You can get rid of this fin in probably a split of a second. There's no problem doing so. So that's pretty safe as well. Now you have to be careful when you disengage and your device is negative. It will start sinking slowly. So in those cases we recommend that you use a leash. If your settings are positive, then it will just float and you don't have to worry. Another question, was it tested with scuba? So the answer is yes, it was, and monofins can be used with scuba. But having said that, you have to be aware of the fact that you will use it differently than without scuba. What I mean by that is, even with monofins, the kick will be different when you have a scuba equipment attached to your bag and when you're free diving without anything. Those dolphin kicks will differ. And the biggest difference is that with scuba, you have to make shallower kicks. So shallower kicks will give you less input to your sensor, thus the thrust will be lower. So we recommend that you change settings on your cell phone. As you know, you can change the settings on the device and make it more sensitive when you swim with scuba. There are also some aspects regarding scuba diving with underwater scooters I wanted to touch on because it's a very important subject. When you have an underwater scooter, you have to be careful how fast you go down and how fast you go up, because scooter will give you an additional thrust, and people can overuse this thrust when scuba diving. So we recommend that you go very shallow and slowly underwater when you use scooters, not only Amphi, but any scooter. And be careful with clearing your nose. Yeah? With Amphi, you have both hands. You can clear your nose, you can clear your mask. You're absolutely free. You don't have any controls. You don't have to hold to your scooter. So that is a very important point. And again, when you go up, also don't rush with your scooter, because your scooter can bring you to the surface very quickly, but you have to equalize. You have to avoid power trauma, and this is another topic, and people who scuba dive know what I'm talking about. We're not going to teach you that. We want you to be aware of this fact. Okay, we have another question. How long does it take to put it on? It's a good question. Is it hard to do? Can, for example, go on a kayak and use it somewhere away from the coast? Yeah. So, great question. Great question. So the answer is yes, but you can use different methods. So a first method, which is pretty straightforward, you keep your shoes on, and then you throw the Amphi to the water. You jump in and you engage the cleats with your shoes, and you are in. Another method, which I prefer, for example, because we do a lot of shore swims, is to keep your shoes attached to the binding, and you just keep them open. There are many designs. We don't recommend regular laces. We recommend either Velcro or those boa locks, and so we keep the shoes open. Then you put your feet in the same way you would do with a regular fin. Then you close, you lock your cycling shoes, and you're ready to go. When you have something bigger like a boat, you can put it on in the boat and then jump. The best way is to use your back jump. Just go backwards to the water. You can also jump on your feet. This is slightly less safe technique, but still can do it if it's not a very high boat, then you can do that as well. But yeah, we do it with kayaks, with stand-up paddles. Everybody has a different technique. Maybe we'll shoot a video how to do it. The best way to put it right now is probably to be underwater and just do it underwater. Just float with your snorkel in, your goggles on. You put the device on, and you're ready to go. Yes, so the answer is yes. It's not straightforward, right? But probably as complicated as a monofin. I like to snorkel. Would it work for me? Yeah, it would. The beauty of Amphi is that you have you get to choose between swimming with monofin, engaging all your muscles and being really athletic, or you can just turn on the motor and go with your propeller. That's also allowed. And keep in mind, Amphi is like an electric bike. You can get a lot of support when your settings are very sensitive, or you can get very little support. So a lot of support, little support, and anything in between. You can use it like a regular scooter, so you don't work at all, it pushes you, or you can use it as a monofin, and the propeller is not working, only you working, and anything in between. So yeah, absolutely, for training, fantastic. You can go long distances supporting yourself with a propeller, and then you can do some athletic stuff and then use the electric power to get back to the shore or to your boat. All right. Okay, the question about the price tag. We get this a lot, and I want to answer it as honestly as possible, because people have misconceptions when they look at underwater scooters and our device. So we are in the category of middle-priced underwater scooters. There are definitely scooters which are much cheaper than ours. Small Yamaha 700, even like 300 bucks. These are very weak devices, but they do exist. If you have something which has a little bit more oomph, and then the price drifts to 1,800, 2,500, this kind of range, and then you have very powerful underwater scooters. You could call them professional scooters, and they go up to $3,000 to even $20,000. So we are in the middle range, I would say, of scooters. And why is that? You have to realize that you're actually getting two devices, right? You're getting a monofin, which is a pretty sophisticated monofin with cycling shoes and cycling cleats, and a monofin in which you can change the blade. You probably noticed from our videos that the blade can be changed. It's attached to the binding, but you can change it to a smaller blade, bigger blade, more rigid blade, or less rigid blade. So there are options which normally a monofin wouldn't have. So this is one device, a monofin with the cycling shoes and binding, which can replace the blades, right? So this is one price. And for a good monofin, you would pay $500, $800 easily. Yeah? And then the thruster is a regular underwater scooter. So you can use it as such. You can just grab it and go underwater with the power pack, as we call it. But it's an underwater scooter. So it's another device. So you have two devices. And now on top of it, there is a sensing mechanism and software which allows those two devices to talk to each other. Okay? So on the blade, you have a magnetic sensor which can sense your effort as you kick. And inside this scooter, there's another sensor which actually senses the motion and adds thrust accordingly. So this is the electric bike mode, as I was talking about. So having those two devices and this link, which allows those two devices work with each other, this makes for the majority of the cost. But to be actually absolutely open about the cost, the good battery and a good thruster, this is the major cost. We can give you something cheap, which will break after a couple of seasons, and those very cheap scooters, some of them are like that, and we don't want to do it. We want Amphi to be a top-notch. It's going to be an iPhone of underwater scooters. We are not after hundreds and millions of units sold. We want a dedicated group of people who like high quality, who like this unusual natural way of swimming. And we think that our price is fair. We're not making a lot of money on it. We think good quality and giving you so many options, because the design is modular, makes for a fair price. I hope it answers the question. And of course, this question will come back. We will try to make it as cheap as possible, or I should say, affordable as possible, still keeping the quality. And for a small company like ours, it's not an easy task, but we want to get there eventually. For now, the price is really comparable to other devices, and I would say you get more with Amphi than with other scooters. Yeah. Also, what are the consumables in it? Is there only? Yeah. So battery is actually battery. You can charge several hundreds of times. You can swap the battery. So yes, the battery, but the blade will be a big component. So the blade, not the whole monofin, but just this grayish looking fiberglass blade can be replaced. So when you chip it or it gets old or scratched, you can buy a new one. And this will be probably, if I'm not mistaken, relatively cheap, around $100 or something, plus shipping, of course. So these are the two components you can exchange. Can you air travel with it? Yes, that's a good question. The big advantage of our scooter is that for a given amount of thrust, our battery is relatively small, and it comes from several factors. The major factor is the position of the thruster, which is actually at the end, does not interfere with your body. So we can give you more thrust for the same size as traditional scooters. And for that reason, our battery is relatively small, and it's TSA legal. Well, you can absolutely travel with it. You can travel with two batteries, like one battery mounted in the power pack and one spare battery, or two power packs. You can even check in with those devices. So the only limiting factor is the size of your blade. Right now, we're using a full-size blade. You can easily use a smaller blade, which is narrower and a little bit elongated. That would fit in a regular backpack, or close to a regular backpack. Will be as wide, maybe a little bit wider than regular fins. So you can swap the blade and have something smaller. And then, if you have this blade, you can actually travel it and use and carry it in your check-in. And carry on baggage, and not check in, but carry on luggage. Okay, regarding sizes, are they uni-size kits? Yeah, good question. Again, good question. So we will have 3 sizes for the blade and 2 sizes right now for the thruster. So the thruster will be 16-pound thruster. You can see them in our videos, the colorful prototypes, the red and blue one. These are 16-pound thrusters. They are fantastic for teenagers, like kids 12 up to 16 years old, 18 years old. Fantastic toy. For people who need a little bit more power, we offer this 35-pound thruster. It will be 17, 18 kilograms of thrust. And it's the same weight. The thrusters are same weight, they are just stronger. So yes, 2 sizes for a thruster and 3 sizes for blades. So you can configure it the same way you configure your skiing equipment, for example. Great question. What happens when the motor quits? Yeah, good question. So basically nothing happens. So when your motor quits, you just use it as a monofin, right? And it's up to you. You can just disengage and swim to the surface, or use your BC if you're scuba diving, or you can keep it on and just use this as a monofin and go up. And we are monofinners, and when you compare swimming with Amphi with a power pack and regular fin, the difference is almost negligible. You don't feel that much of a difference. The reason being that the major resistance from monofinning comes from the water resistance, not from the mass. So even if you attach the power pack, it does not add to this feeling of moving it through the water. It's negligible. So even with your power pack attached, not active, you can still use it as a monofin. What happens when the motor quits and I'm deeply and you're deep again? Nothing happens. You can continue the same way you would do with a monofin. All right, so these are the major. Okay. Is it you somehow they, yeah, so we have many ways of communicating between the swimmer and the unit. There's a LED. So when you look between your feet, you will see an LED, and the blinking of an LED gives you different messages. And we have it set up differently for different prototypes, but basically blinking will indicate that your battery is low. So, and the frequency of blinking will indicate how close it is to be fully discharged. No, it does not text message to a smartphone, but it might be a good idea because you will have an app on your smartphone, and you will have and the unit, the electronics which is inside the power hall, the power pack, they are capable of talking to each other. So you can set up the sensitivity of your unit using your cell phone. But yeah, we can actually have some communication going the other way around. It will happen with my Gaia unit, which will come later, which will have sensors on board, and this one will communicate back with the cell phone. For now, we did not think about anything like that for this current prototype, but we will definitely do upgrades for our next device. Where can I buy it? Is it available on the market? Well, it is right now. It is not, but the good news is it's available on Indiegogo. So if you want the latest and the greatest, and you will be probably the only one in your town to have it, you can go on our Indiegogo campaign and purchase one. And the price right now, I think it's like 1,500. So we basically sell it for what we need to build it, or maybe a little bit even less. So go on Indiegogo and look at our perks, and you will find a pretty good deals right now. So yeah, it is available only on Indiegogo. There's no any manufacturing going on right now. We will start manufacturing out after we are done with our Indiegogo campaign, and this is going to happen in 30 days, give or take. Yeah. So would it be cool if it tells you what's the depth? It would be cool. We can. I love this kind of question as an engineer. These are great ideas. We may incorporate something like that later on and communicate with a cell phone. And who knows? Maybe it will tell. The version which we would like to have next year will have a pressure sensor. Right now, this one, the current one, will not. It will be easy to upgrade because you can actually exchange the entire electronics. It will be a single module, and as we keep it modular, you will be able to swap the electronics and have a new module with sensors. The idea is to have a pressure sensor, salinity sensor, acceleration sensor, gyros. It will track your dive profile, give you timestamps for your pictures which you take with your camera. So you eventually will be able to attach pictures to your dive profile, and it will be a lot of fun. But again, not for this version, it will come later. Yeah, is there any safety switch to turn it off? Every single version has a kill switch, as we call it. The early version had a huge kill switch on the side. Usually we try to make it easily to access. Right now it's on the back side of the fin. When you put your hand between your heels, you have a switch, you can turn it off. The question very often comes from the fact that people watch us swim and they think that when you go very fast, you have to stop, and you have to stop, it's a problem, and you have to turn it off. So the reality is slightly different. Even if you don't turn it off, and again, we do have kill switches. Even if you don't turn it off, you can change the position of your feet in such a way that you will stop immediately. You will stop probably faster than with other scooters, because you can when you pull your knees to your chest, you stop within probably two meters or 3 yards or something like that. It is very easy to stop, even with the power pack being active, full power. And it will not spin you. When we tested it a couple of times, my foot disattached, and the Amphi was attached just to one foot, and I didn't lose control. There was nothing scary about it. Of course, it was gently pushing me around. But in order to go really fast, you have to streamline nicely. You have to have a good position, and then it will push you through the water. As soon as you pull your knees to your chest, you will stop, and you don't have to turn it off. But again, you can if you want to. So yeah, there is a kill switch. Okay, silly question, but bothers me a lot. I'm scared of sharks. I hope it does not attract sharks. I hope too. We don't know. Mostly ocean animals are pretty shy. People say that sharks are curious and they come and investigate. I would say if sharks don't come to regular scooters and they don't bother scuba divers with regular scooters, they won't bother you either. So I'm not especially afraid of sharks chasing us, but who knows? I mean, I'm kidding. I don't think it's a serious threat, but yeah, we hope to. We swim open water right now, exclusively open water up north. We tested it in the pool. It was a completely different ball game. When you go open water, you discover whether this device is viable or not, because you have waves, you have currents, you have everything is shifting under you. The weather is not predictable. You cannot shield yourself from water, wind, and stuff like that. So I would say this is more dangerous than sharks, but still we can manage, and it actually fantastically swims on the surface even with pretty high waves. I think the highest waves was like 2 feet to more, maybe 3 feet waves, and still you can manage. And the fin keeps you on the surface very stable, because it's a relatively big fin, and you don't roll, you just very stable because of this fin gliding on the surface. Yeah, does the thruster only kick when you kick or your legs, or it's in constant on? So yeah, let's clarify it. So there are modes you can operate in. So in some modes, you can have the thruster fully on. You don't have to kick, but it can be fully on and you can still kick. It will work. And you have this electric bike mode, which is basically the thruster is waiting for your action. So when you start kicking, it will sense the strength of your kick and will add power to this strength. So the more you kick, the more thrust you're going to achieve. But you can change the settings and go full power, go half power without kicking, or you can change to this electric bike mode, and it will only follow your kicks. Thus, both ways can be used both ways. And again, you can remove it from the monofin and use it as a regular scooter, and then you just turn it on as full power or half power or whatever power you need, and then you can go with it. Okay, it would be cool to see some type of race. yeah, it would be cool to have racing. We're thinking about it because with this scooter, it is very easy to do maneuvers which are impossible with other scooters. So for example, you probably saw it in our videos that you can go on your back, and it's absolutely impossible with other scooters. So you're on your back, you can talk to your body, you can look at your camera, go through your pictures, then you can go on your belly and continue. You can go on the side. So there's a lot of maneuvers you can do underwater and on the surface. So having a racing competition where you have multiple swimmers and they have to go through certain maneuvers in order to get to the finish line, that would be really fantastic. We enjoy this idea, and as monofinners, we would like to see it because monofinning and regular swimming is kind of boring, and it's fun to do it, not that much fun to watch it. But with Amphi, you can end up with a pretty interesting competition. So, yep, good idea. All right, so we covered a lot of topics. Oh, how fast is it? Fantastic question. So with underwater propulsion systems and with any propulsion systems, the drag or the force which stops you is equally important to the force which pushes you. So when I attach it to, when I swim with Amphi with the same power, and for example, a guy who is like 120 pound swims with the same settings, he will be much faster than I If a good monofinner will swim with it, the good monofinner will be also faster than a bad monofinner, because remember, you still have a monofin which you can use. So it depends on many factors. We think you can go up to 5 in short bursts. You can go up to 5 knots. That would be say 5.5 miles per hour, and that would be probably close to 9 kilometers per hour in metric units. You can check my math. I'm probably wrong, but not, the ballpark will be something like that. So you can compare it to other underwater scooters. They can go up to 3 knots tops. So we are faster if you use a monofin, and we are faster because the position of the thruster is on the other side. Like you look at the boat has a propeller, not in the front, but at the back, right? So we are the same way. So it gives us a better hydrodynamic configuration. So this is why we go faster than other scooters. And of course, you can streamline better. There's no interactions between the scooter and your face and your chest and your hands. Thus, we can go faster. If you add the monofinning technique, you can go really, really fast. Not for long, but for a couple of minutes, you can go really, really fast. Okay. Yeah, vacation packages. So from the very beginning, we thought of Amphi as a lifestyle, not as a product. And so we offer, as we mentioned before today, seminars to teach you how to swim with it, to teach you how to use other devices with Amphi, like cameras, metal detectors, tools, and scuba equipment for that matter. But also we think that we can take you to places which are great for Amphi. So as you know, snorkelers and free divers and scuba divers, they prefer different locations, and for a reason. They prefer different configurations for the reef. Like snorkelers, they like shallow and very large areas of shallow water or relatively shallow water. Free divers, they prefer something else, and scuba divers something else. So it's the same is true for Amphi. We have a certain preferences, and we would like to take you to those locations which are great for Amphi, for using Amphi. And we visited a couple of islands in the Caribbean, and we think that Curacao and Bonaire are perfect for this device. So we will have vacation packages prepared, and we'll talk to you whether you like to go with us and where. And during those vacation packages, during those vacations, we will teach you how to use Amphi. We'll teach you how to use it with different equipments. We will teach you how to become instructors, how to teach others how to use this this device. And we will show you places where you can really enjoy Amphi as a device, as a mobility tool underwater. Because Amphi is about mobility underwater. It's about feeling like a fish, like a sea creature. And there are places which are perfect to experience that. So yeah, we're planning to do it. What is the status of that? Yeah, there are status. There are restrictions right now. So we're thinking about starting in Florida. We are in on the Gulf side, but we think we think that the best place is the Keys. We'll see how the situation evolves. We would love to do it on the Keys. Key Largo, for example, would be a perfect spot for that. But the Keys in general. But if it doesn't work, there are nice spots to experience Amphi here on the Gulf, and we will organize something locally here in Florida. And I'm talking right now to our U.S. fans, Amphinauts. and the rest is out of our control. We'll see how it goes. As soon as the restrictions are off, we're gonna definitely kick off the vacations in the Caribbean. We will definitely go to Europe. We already have people over there interested, and they want to become instructors. They want to start selling this. So yeah, absolutely yes. We are preparing. We spoke with several destinations. Free divers are very interested in our device. We want to start small with regular people and perfect the device, and then give it to free divers. But free diving schools are asking about this device. Working on it for you. All right. And we are probably out of questions for now. So thank you very much. If you have any additional questions, let us know. If not, we will slowly close this session. Please visit our Indiegogo website, and you will see a lot of perks. You can support us just supporting the campaign, or you can buy fantastic perks like this one with a beautiful logo of ours here, or t-shirts much nicer than this one, or mugs, which I'm holding here. If you like the product, if you like our team, again, small team, 4 people, making and working on this device for you. We're not doing it for ourselves, we're doing it for you. So if you can spread the word, support us on Indiegogo, we would be very grateful, and we will provide you with something which is a really special toy, or even a tool, underwater tool. There's nothing like Amphi. You will feel like a creature, like an underwater creature, because natural body motion can be amplified by this device, and you don't have a noise in front of you. You don't have any water jet hitting you. You don't have to struggle with a scooter which is trying to pull forward and you have to hold it. Everything is very smooth and effortless. This is why we think it will be a huge hit when you guys try it. But in order for us to start making it, manufacturing it, we need your support right now. So this is why we're here and talking to you. So thank you very much again for your presence, for your questions. See you on our Indiegogo page. Visit our Facebook page. We have a lot of interesting stuff there. Visit our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can find a lot of interesting videos there, which will probably answer a lot of questions when you see how it's used, how we started with our first prototype, which was a very funny looking fin 2 years ago, when we built the second prototype and we tested it in open water, and right now we're testing the third prototype, which we think is the final version. We just have to polish it and give it to you, and then you can enjoy all those beautiful things we enjoying right now. So yeah, go to our YouTube channel. There are some theoretical lectures about underwater vehicles, if you're interested, where we talk about how underwater scooters reduce oxygen consumption, how fast they go, can they go very fast, and why not, and why yes, how the thrust is related to speed, how the drag is related to speed, and all those interesting things for nerds are there. So if you are interested, join us on YouTube as well. And yeah, see you soon. We will definitely want to hear from you. And if you have more questions, ask it on Facebook, or just send us an email or comment on YouTube. We try to respond as quick as possible. We rather respond quickly. If we miss a question, it's very rarely. So there's a good chance when you post a question, we will answer it relatively quickly. So thank you again. It was a great experience. first time for me, but I really enjoyed it. So thank you very much, and talk to you soon. Bye.